In this video, I'm going to show some examples of how to add integers. Remember that when we are performing the operation of addition, what we are doing is combining. So on question 1, we're combining 3 negatives with 4 negatives. We can model this with little counters. So I have 3 negatives, and I'm combining it with 4 more negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. So altogether now, when I combine all those, I have 7 negatives, which is A. On B, we are trying to combine or add a positive with a negative. Now, I'm not going to draw 82 counters or 87 negative counters, but I am going to do a simpler version of this problem. Let's say if we have 4 plus negative 2. That's really the same thing. We have a positive plus a negative. If I were to do that with counters, I could draw 4 positives and then 2 negatives. When we combine 4 positives and 2 negatives, we can then pair up positives and negatives. And anytime we pair up a positive and negative, that forms what's called a zero pair. And a zero pair will cancel each other out. So you can see that we can partner this one with this one and it cancels out. Partner with this one and it cancels out. Positive and negative forms 0, and 0 doesn't add anything to our problem. So the answer to this problem would be 2 positives. So if we look at another example before I do number 2, you might see a pattern start to develop. Let's say we had, let's do 3 positives plus 6 negatives. Here's 3 positives. I'm going to do my negatives below it this time. 6 negatives. We can then go through and say this is a 0 pair, this is a 0 pair, this is a 0 pair. So we end up with 3 negatives as our solution. So if you're thinking of these integers as counters, like what I just drew on here, what we're really doing is we're looking for which one of those integers will have more counters, which one, the positive or the negative. So in this first example right here, I had more positive counters. I had 4 of the positive counters. So therefore, the negative counters canceled out some of the positive counters. These 2 negatives canceled out some of the positives. On the second one, I had more negative counters. So the positive ones canceled out some of the negatives. On question 2, we have more negative counters here. I have 87 negative counters, and I'm going to cancel out 82 of those. When I cancel out 82 of the negative counters, I'm left with 5 of the negative counters, which would be choice D. On question 3, it doesn't look like I have any canceling out going on. I just have some negative counters combined with some more negative counters. So if I had 51 negative counters, and I combine it with 53 more negative counters, I would just have 51 plus 53, which is 104 counters, and they would all be negatives.